Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked around at your life and thought, wow, we've built something amazing? The career, the home, the travel, only to realize your relationship feels more like a business partnership than a love story. If so, you're not alone. So many high achieving couples I work with feel like they're checking all the boxes of success. But behind closed doors, they're exhausted, they're disconnected, and sometimes they're even resentful. And that's what we're talking about today: power couple burnout and the hidden cost of success on your relationship. Because burnout doesn't just happen at work. We tend to get that wrong. It can show up in your marriage. And the truth is, it can cost you the very thing you worked so hard to protect: your connection. So go grab a warm drink and let's dive in. Welcome to Relationship Reset, Reignite, Reconnect, Rebuild, the podcast for high achieving couples who want to transform their relationship from surviving to thriving. I'm Katie Russler, a relationship coach and counselor with over 15 years of experience helping busy, overwhelmed couples rebuild connection, trust, and intimacy. If you've been together for years and feel stuck on autopilot, disconnected, and frustrated by constant miscommunication, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll explore practical tools, relatable stories, and strategies to help you reignite the spark, rebuild your bond, and create the relationship you've always dreamed of. Because no matter how long you've been together, it's never too late to hit reset. Let's dive in. I'll never forget a couple I used to work with. Let's call them Sarah and Mark. On paper, they were the definition of a power couple. Sarah was a successful attorney climbing the ranks at her firm, and Mark was a tech executive whose company had just gone public. They had the dream home, the dream vacations, and from the outside, it looked like they had it all. But when they came to me, they said, Katie, we feel more like roommates. We're running a household, raising kids, managing logistics, but the spark and the fun and the intimacy, it's just completely gone. You could feel it when they were in the room together. It felt like a business partnership. And what was really happening is what happens to so many of us. Their success had come with a hidden cost. The long hours, the constant travel, the pressure to perform meant that by the time they got home, they had nothing left to give each other. And frankly, what they did have to give, they gave it to the kids. So the kids became the focus at home. Their relationship was completely running on fumes. Have you had that feeling of we're successful, but we're just completely disconnected? Well, I call that power couple burnout. So let's talk about that hidden cost of success. Success looks shiny, but it often comes at a high cost. And usually that cost is energy, right? We're mentally, emotionally, and physically exhausted. We spend the best of ourselves at work, and our partners get the leftovers. The research backs this up. Relationship growth doesn't happen in a straight line. It's not always harmony. It's actually a cycle of disharmony, repair, and back to harmony. But when we're burned out, we don't even attempt to repair. We shut down, we avoid, or we argue about little things because we don't have the capacity to handle the bigger stuff. So the cost of success isn't just time. It's the energy and willingness to repair your relationship when disharmony shows up, because it's going to. So how do you know if this is happening in your relationship? Here are some signs of power couple burnout. 1, you feel more like business partners than lovers. Always talking about logistics, rarely talking about dreams. That was huge for Sarah and Mark. It was just about the logistics on a regular basis. 2, irritability is high and your patience is really low. This is often your adaptive child showing up, that part of you that learned survival strategies as a kid and now defaults to snapping, shutting down, or people pleasing. You go straight into habit mode rather than being intentional. 3, resentment around your shared responsibilities starts to build. Who's doing more? Who's carrying the mental load? You may even hear, well, I bring in more money. And that starts the argument. This is a weekly discussion I have with couples on calls, them really navigating who is supposed to do what when they both are already so exhausted. The 4th sign, communication breaks down. Maybe one of you stonewalls, or the other gets into this, we have to fix this now, don't walk away. Every time you just don't even care anymore about this relationship, right? Like into that demand style of arguing. Maybe one of you dreams really big and the other one always goes into practical, that doesn't make sense, that won't work mode. These patterns drain connection. So if you're nodding ahead to any of those 4 or all of the 4, chances are burnout is at play. So why does this happen, especially for high achieving couples? We have personality differences. Often achievers pair with someone who has complementary traits, right? Like I'm goal driven, you're goal driven. I want to be super successful and so do you. Like we're attracted to that. And that balance is beautiful when things are good. But under stress and real life, differences can feel like big conflict. See, when we both want to be successful and are goal driven, we're not thinking about all the other things that need to get done. And we expect the other person to pick up the slack. Well, if we both expect each other to pick up the slack, it's never going to happen, right? The next thing is that stress awakens a survival strategy within us. When the pressure's on, we don't show up as our most loving adult selves, do we? We show up as our, again, adaptive child who is defensive, withdrawn, reactive, or people pleasing and doing everything for everyone, and resentment continues to build. Another reason this happens that there's no intentional check-ins. The relationship becomes an afterthought. We're just talking about what needs to get done and not going, hey, how are you? Oh my gosh, I've missed you. Let me just give you a hug. What's going on in your life, right? Building that friendship again. Without intentional resets, you drift into disconnection. And here's the thing, because high achievers are so good at pushing through, right? Like we're amazing at going through crisis. You often ignore the warning signs until the distance feels so overwhelming. If we ignore this power couple burnout, it doesn't go away. I'm sorry. You can't just push through. You're going to be pushing through and adding to already feeling burnout. Even worse, starting to have the health issues and all the things that come with extended burnout. The cost becomes higher. We start to feel more emotional disconnection. There's a loss of intimacy and playfulness that tends to go pretty quickly. Resentment that builds up like debt, which we don't like debt, right? And it's got interest on it, so it's even bigger. And in some cases, the relationship itself breaks down. The truth is, success in career doesn't mean success in love. You have to define success in both. And you have to be willing to give a little in the category where maybe you feel the most control and the most successful so that you can improve on the other. So the good news, burnout doesn't have to be the end of your story. Here are a few things that you can do to help. 1, redefine success as a couple. Just like in business, you need a mission statement. What are we working toward together? What matters to us? I'll make sure to put in the show notes a link to be able to get my couples goal setting workbook where you get to create a mission statement together too. It's a great thing for you guys to do this coming weekend. Number 2, create shared experiences. One of my favorite assignments is having couples do something new together. It gets them out of their comfort zone and helps them to be more vulnerable and playful, a lot more laughter with each other, right? The thing is, usually high achieving couples are not very good at doing new things. They like their routine and the stuff that makes sense, and being vulnerable together and laughter and embarrassing themselves is not high on their priority list. But it is so key in us relaxing more with each other and having fun again. Okay, and number 3, reset responsibilities. Take a fresh look at how the household runs. Instead of falling into default roles, intentionally redesign them so it feels fair and balanced. This can be really challenging, but the moment you've figured out and you both work on it equally, you're going to see that amazing results happen. Okay, so here are 3 things you can do this week. I know I just gave you 3 things, but I'm going to give you more succinct things for this week, right? 1, micro moments of connection. Think 5 to 10 minutes a day where you're not talking about the kids, bills, or work. No logistics, just you two. Check in emotionally on how your partner is doing, care about them, and then be able to let them care about you and share how you're doing emotionally. Number 2, audit your energy. Ask each other, what drains me? What fuels me? Then adjust where you can, right? There might be some things that fuel and excite one of you that drains the other. And maybe those are tasks or areas that person who loves it can focus on while the other gets a break. And number 3, have a shared success metric. Define one way you'll measure success in your relationship this month, just this coming month. Maybe it's weekly date nights or more laughter at home or less arguing about chores. I don't know, you pick, but have a shared success metric so that you know if you're making progress or not. I think one thing we all need to think about, no matter what, is asking ourselves the question, what does our success cost our relationship? And what ways do we want to reclaim our relationship back versus hold on to the success that we have? And maybe just write down one thing you'll stop doing that drains your connection and one thing you'll start doing that builds it. Because frankly, it's so easy to point the finger at our partner and what they're not doing, but it just helps us avoid focusing on ourselves. So, what does your success cost your relationship? And what are you willing to do to reclaim your relationship back, right? How are you going to help rebuild it? This is where the shift happens when success becomes something you define together with your partner and you're willing to let go of the parts that's just about you. So, let's recap. Burnout doesn't just show up in the office, it shows up in your marriage too. But it doesn't have to be the cost of success. When we're more aware, when we're more intentional with our resets and repairs, and when we have small but powerful changes in our relationship, we can protect our connection while still thriving in our careers. I encourage you to go into the show notes and get the couples goal setting workbook. It really is going to help the two of you get on the same page with what are some of our goals as a couple, not the stuff that needs to get done with the home or the family, but just the two of you. So make sure you grab that in the show notes below. Here's the thing, success should feel good at work and at home. So make sure you are creating a life that balances both. I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Relationship Reset. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend who might need it too. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast. It helps more couples discover these tools to rebuild their connection too. And be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. It's gonna be a good one. Your relationship is worth the work, and the rewards, totally worth the effort. See you next week.